Itkoria Jumapili jakira chinsa 12 cha mambia wika chinsa inye zinyari komotogia munguru naboigo komoterera nanche Deana Ndemo imigeta seni yen Soko TV.
Mungu amefanya ni Mungu amefanya, sio mimi. Ni Mungu ametenda ni Mungu ametenda, sio mimi. Ni Mungu amefanya ni Mungu amefanya, hivi nilivyo mimi. Mungu amefanya, sio mimi.
Amorire nigagendrete gutose mwana boire bukia tari Yesu sera ekegonko esukari lisabeso ukurasa kwa manyinga yan blood pressure ninki turakore wetanga kuru wasare nyorali chibu asomurobiryo bubugima nobo chenu asora bigo kumeni wanabanyagitari bamarwire ao nabo yabamanyi bande bayatungetyo bo chenu KOMOREKERA marwire nobo wenia nyoro murobiryo bubugima nobo chenu na Caroline Mausa kirali tukule Jumatatu chinsa ibiri chabutuko ime yen Soko TV obuso umugusi
mwancho muligereli enen Soko TV
ege nen Soko TV oboroso bumugusi.
Muligereli bwen Soko TV karibu sana naende asensemega ya kabere nkwana ya beno botko bware robna nachika kumanya weekend iga nigo tokubeka kumutumuko ase siasa tosoe ase ESEKTA herie ere ya yechinguru mono KOMOREKERA obogima bu mwana icho kawaida na boigo kwegenderia gwense ekero kwandra chisemi ase studio ninde nabagani bane babere Daktari Livingstone Makori PhD oyore omumanyi bwa mangana iga career choice na boigo life purpose coach na boigo ntore nere Mr. Ayang Maranga oyore omumanyi bwa mangana yubora yaboiga ime yensi ya Kenya na isko yensi bagatanga geopolitical tujigo sangana barabu tunyarako tukumanya nararia na etwariga ndibirangere byago mabodi andonsi ora take gutwara ebeno muiburi ebeno morokia oyo omoro morokia na boigo morokiwa ase chisemi chigoro tunyarako batogosanga kusaba kwa bertu sange nabageni baitu ase studio namba itu simire 07 okobeka 886 maragatano alafu isato omwerio unabugwa kesimia ase studio nabogotoma ujumbe karibu sana abageni bane tuchake naye Yang Maranga kurututigana eiki yaita akiwa ndotenga kikwa lituko yagorobire
asante no moraria chinago kire gocha nande sukongaregani tukwana na magana ye chisemi and especially chili Igoro. Asante.
Thank you so much nande no ebika twarikwarigania nkwaniga musani bonaro mwasomete na roko kumukate Enoch musani ona sana ngorogetie emirime yake no ariko yachakira ntetinga ngukwana nande narigeretie kero to kwanda chisemi chiga.
Asante.
Karibu sana daktari. Happy New Year ntorara no mwako yega.
Happy New Year.
Ngakioge ntrete nande by the way congratulations. Naroche you are part now of the member advisory board Icon Brand Africa.
Yes.
Naboko mukwano mugusina kero gutumanyanga kikwa agendera sama tukamanga.
Aba gusiba mintombi yamole elitalia Dr. Livingstone Makori. Tuwa kwantu mwakoli era karama temu ali gosoka. Kaita abantu bago getemono. Abande bakagechu wake. Lakini ngabata ibonsi onde yotakire kogechu. No kuligelinga what next. Wana lera to kuligeli chisemi Igoro na biato chagete. Na beta appointed the board of advisor Iconic Brand Africa. Iconic Brand Africa ne brand ire Africa. Ego support ya mangana development within Africa. So mbaro chenga kende karonda nya ko banko batebi karbacho akole meremeri yabo egasi ya nepiwa na advisory ko baro kinga strategy ba kubwatia nki Africa ega netiko kora agende engena liba gali okuligeria Africa korwase kuru Kenya. Asante.
Karibu sana ngorengia karukwa ngiga enseme ya matemu ariko sokere twaratebanga abaibori mbaita bana ngatoite ti tonyorete kiri kwanyora tugatebanga boro kiwatiga baeso yase chiseme chika chigoro bari banyora libagari oso university baigandra ne bari batanya tari baga baisoya se chikosi chobubundi ase polytechnic ne college ko egandra kero to chasore tora chaka na yang maranga senkwane ago yokwigorera asensi ya Kenya nae watari chinse au kero korengania nense ya Kenya chiseme chigoro asensi ya Kenya so far ngaki kero uchiwe with our colleagues ase chinse chinde so far
yeah semi ya Kenya nere gorake when you compare in the region that is the East Africa and Africa as a whole we are fairly doing well but we normally have greatest competition from the southern hemisphere, South Africa, partly in central northern Egypt, na chokora chigo to in terms of exposure and how competitive their schools are. But that aside, Kenyans, especially government effort area total 100% transition kurumo sike kibaki edete serikali na corona ke as a toko in terms of transiting from literacy levels and regukina. But I want to water in the challenges in Kenke, but that's no more. But coming to the higher education in Ngotend Gotwali and Tokoroka bias towards the tertiary side. Maybe we can compare notes. Yeah. I'm not saying it in the higher side of the universities level at the Michandaya, but you see the world is evolving. It needs hands-on skills so that it can match the industry. Intake most of our universities chikos togokora vis-a-vis the industry okora there's a lot of mismatch. That's why okore serikali is very intentional. Can we go now on hands-on skills so that now we can match the industry? I can give an example. Konyo rumonto orangili gosene university akora usuna automotive engineering, mechanical engineering, osoma okora wirana oberesco. What have the other countries have done? Keromanda akora automotive engineering akonya they partner with the stakeholders of the industry. I'll give you a good example, like let's say DTDOB or CMC. So that now when you're in the university, you do your first year, second year, partner na these car manufacturers, maybe Toyota Wazoo or Toyota CFR, awana wakiwa school, buy your hands-on skilled on this, on the technology and on what they are learning, so that by the time they exit the school, they are able to do now the practical aspect. So the challenge is more of our studies, more theoretical. When you put now the practical one, you're over the middle.
Tiatocha say daktari una whatever to compare notes daktari as a capacity yago una career choice analyst nkorengi wo interact na borukwa bega first hand una young marangata birenga asensema yako ranga matching the industry na workforce we katashari Chia we at least koba boosted lakini tarinenda ako wash out legisem chichika ndreta say a university in as much as mostly chire more theoretical asoko gore nkwana yago chiseme cheito cheigoro ngakyo che so far
ono jenda tebenga noganeti omoyo totaye noganeti obwembe nyomba mwago noganeti omoyo noganeti egesire na noganeti na nobukombe igonga kira education level ne very important naona ase nyomba muneye noganeti omonto kwabusa oyo kwagacha no yokora interior design chiseme chance to chigeli in wholesome from where I sit to reading aki mune world ego change nga opportunities chira ekalo koligere chiseme cheito Inter University Council of East Africa back or research about 2010. I don't think much has changed. Ekalo to koligere nga how ready are our young people for the job market. Yeah, look at 51% of our young people are not ready for the job market. Research ya koruna Association of Kenyan Employers FKE 2025 ekoro kinga abantu abange nonyena entry level jobs they take up to 6 months to understand the gas ikinge yagote nga amasomo ari agosoma school tari in line with the demands. Whereas education system yego follow process abantu bategerere bagambe barosi a curriculum ebinde njira bigo change very fast. So again to take ngeringa ngakito nyara adapt amasomo aya either monton PhD yakora ne certificate yakora say craft ko say diploma abe in line with where the world is moving to ayense yego chiboniga ekaro kuligeri ngakitwe bangete ukwebanga kora kuntole banga bya but again ekaro kuligeri chinse chindo sikonda na East Africa gaiga kuligeri some few universities oche Kenya na botanga Kenya nale tole twasukirake lakini bado ekaro to compare our education system igatokubeke world benchmark twebolinga umwana yawe jokora globally ekaro jo apply gas Qatar no nda apply for America ngora cha gubwango katukuli global benchmark. There are issues we need to work on, especially practical skills in line with the future work. Yeah.
Turacha se yang maranga kiroko kwandra ensemega yo koligere na go study aseto ikeire so far bagotebanga technology gasa ni ko evolve. So abarko abaiga either badas university chiskuru chobo bundi baganda konyo chisemi. What should be done so that babe in line with the evolving technology and we're ready for the job market? Na turo sa daktari taracha siang maranga.
Okay. Ngeta kere okoru. Tone ngeta kere okoru. Yang maranga na kwane gente kemo. Otebanga in automotive industry okonyoro mwana agosome diploma ga ukora and factory we understand. Even tebia osome class onyara ko be linked to the job market. Again dongere kia sana kia very introduced in CBE. Tinda manya ntoragi apply community service learning. To apply community service learning, emanating ebintebi abana batayite gosomera bateke nyo ari baga baenda babi practice. That's the only way you can link practical with industry. You could be, for example, for accounting, debit, credit, very important. But they can also add as organization, kwa realize njira ba for accounting here different. So kwa nyara ko link and to do so method debit and credit na kiyakole kana say workplace. So again to keka area kama onkelinga internship and job placement. Onye dia ko nyale kana njenale ko baboni ge minister ya education. Yale ko ba compulsory nga kere organization abana a specific work hours for work experience. That will give them opportunity. Odiye to ta nga ganda ko work experience oirane. A clear procedure that you know man hours, how many works they have spent and what they are doing. So we need to have that interaction between industry and learning institutions. Egara abana abanyole that work experience. No ni ntuaba kare tu quality school to kagendega. Se bintu mbere tu akagere to bimate kuga kwanya oro moliti. Kiagere bintu biri bigo ko industry bire different na biwa someta. Iko bono njeno go sabanga stakeholders abale industry companies ndobwate na nechi school babwate batu wale collaboration egara abana abanyora skills banyara gusoma nono mweguli currency gari nena babatema akinda akora umwana onanyore practical skills egera ateme mono nenda koranga umwana onada ko bomunya itali egera nyo alibaga agenda inta usukurigiri industry nchira moya abone ubonya itali karugwa korro bonya itali you go for 1 year practical experience kwa mochaga colleagues. That's a very good thing. Now no bwali mga ngura enda bale 1 term. But I think that period needs to start early. Ndoga nyaba ko Montaike University ama wacha kwenda experience. Achaka mapema. Yeah.
Chatuske kocha se yak marangane tonyore ebirengereri biaye kero to kwandranga chisemi chigoro chia nyare koba bagotebanga desire ya boruko bali wate to so sense mu university yangere kokea. We don't know what it is. It is affordability. We say it's more of a support. Ya bekirwa say tertiary unlike university. Na boko kwando muraibuense muwaziri negati ya kwatani bani bechemba batebanga borko abono. Chigasi chigamo so university Chia borire changere kokea. Che desire ya keire. Is it because of affordability or say support ya very much as a tertiary education?
Mbia mwana naende ni swali ya sana mete abana ba ukine generation ye babugato bumanyi mono kuba balitu akene takego because they are able to interact with the GCM they're able to see Ekwana in other regions. Then you look at it again, the serikali what a deliberate effort. Jogotebia we would na banana kiyaya. Let's have a change of mind shift to this area. Kirobate simiye bwate in the globe at your hands. We're able to compare not to Manaki in Ekwana in the UK, what's happening in Japan, what's happening in South Korea. Well, no. I mean, Origerika Kaigo and no compare as to take the Gucha. No one know whatever na this desire, Yerani didn't say Avana Gucci University. In Turkey University, we might in a year, about 300,000 plus. 300,000 plus. Yeah. Then every year, we graduate between, let's say, 60, 70 to 80,000 to the job market. Then the job market is able to absorb less than maybe 30, 40%. So you can imagine the 60% kaibagocha. So that continuously, let's say for the last 5, 10 years, so your 60% but transit easily to the job market. So we are talking about around the 600,000, but the school, very informal jobs. So then, that's why also our workforce or the civil service, they can have more than 1 million or 2 million people at a go. There's a constraint of resources. So like you ntubono bamanyibo twanyoro SM nkege gotabiyana mamintona ki kimurenka digera siya okoboko gukora no I'll tell you, before take us to a kid, I'm also a PhD student at Jomo Kenyatta University. I've done my coursework. I'm on the tail end of my thesis. Oh, man, you know which camera chitorochega is a skill. Tokora ranchara keroma to kwando camera. Tokora ranchara keroma to kora blumbing. Blumbing, the need for blumbers in this world, Igoro-san. But I want to wait to work na kerole blumber. That's a lesser job. So that's a lesser job. If you are in Australia today, someone to fix for you a bulb, there's a standard rate to kumwakana. So what the government has done deliberately is to close in the gap between the rich and the poor, so that you meet near the center. So that toko miso yolense no taguchiwesa chinyingi. Warode. So what is skill? The skill can take you anywhere. Like now the German government is in Kenya. You could just mere drivers. But only chigard. But back over, no matter speak French. Okay, no matter speak German. Tomanyeti. Wana kwa Konya. So youth, youth orenka, will come from your comfort zone or call something extra. You hakole to bwarimu, to go to the bwarimu weka kwa 2013, one in 2026, oriente serikali kwa echigo kolika. Awe challenge nero. Na bagota mako versatile, origi to kendora mente so that you are all round. So that when you wakole to bwarimu, you can add something on top. You can do even certificate in nursing, you can do something on healthcare. You can do a small technical course on something. So that now, you're able to place yourself. The job market demand in the world. You will find human resource people, procurement, technical courses. That's why it's very deliberate. On the ones who take some tertiary, go to marriage where so handle. But now the challenge is when you compare the two, is no still the higher education route. For you to find yourself swimming in the deep sea, but properly swimming there, we call a PhD. In Kenya, Dr. can tell you that we have less than 10,000 PhDs. Less than that. Yeah. Around 7 or 8. PhD. And less than 60 or 70,000 masters. That tells you, the more you climb higher, the more you go care over Manjibako Babak. So to get in over Konyed, the king got one on Chinibate degree, Jinchiro. So what are you saying? You can look for a diploma, liga certificate gete ga computer gete go menta kandega so that now you become wholesale.
Tikatucha sore daktari una young maranga eresire igago at the end of the day ntopate 100% transition kurwase chiseme chikachinde iga uki secondary oswe ensemo ye chiseme cha Igoro. At the end of the day abaroko bakan kokendra bare konyora chiseme chiga. And if we want the results young maranga kwanire what should we do different? As again, we can't expect results chire tofauti whereas doing the same thing to abere toko kora kurumega gocha gocha. Is it the system we gokorwa monchoreri or we have something new egochikokonya so that we hit the job markets chikaniri?
I think again take time to understanding season kitole go sen generation kitole. A generation nere abantu bali basomete 1960s. Igakwale gukora ira kwa buli rube kwa ndegas. Kiagara amabaye basi alenga makeko bwa abantu. Tojibone generation ya lero. Generation ya lero neringa igatura abange. Young maranga nje na chete university kale. Miaka 2008. Najo tuwanegi 12,000 the whole of Kenya to Chithe University. One got about 330 something plus. No sikuligeria mabagaye chigas tarabu chamona taringa chikama ni chia lengoro chia mentere kwanza chikama ni njiro chia sikiru iko bana baka tuligeria ki abantu bali ba 1960 bale kuboka banyole gas yobu ali mu wakora P1 kwanyole gas muga komenta akora ndenga onye ndi na akora the class 7 njikaga no mwalimu na bete na buli tu chama temuka iko ngo mondoro wakora class 7 yali gale kubo mwalimu woni ibintu bya change ringa igasi yali abantu baito bakarigire yakabere Kenya kwenda military kwenda police wone gazi yabere ya Igoro global egasi ya global mkeganete number 1 neganete skills competencies ngi explain ibintu to what skills competencies skills njire mara kabere technical skills and soft skills ekaro soka school ego muntu nangane tu ale ibintu bitatu competency egento kelio somerete no kimanyite ko gekora teba ngo soma kuruwe ko sie mambi kwagende ndakini umuntu akuburinga ayo wasomete go operate go sene camera for example ko iwe camera yago sinya igoto bwate competencies egento kelio kwa mwa gosoma ogesoma so that you become the best in that thing ekara abantu bakuburinga ndako umuntu boninga bwe camera ningo abantu baranganya rebe era nanyi maite igonga nayo ra to about competencies number 2 liringa ki skills kiechi siganiri umuntu wo operate camera skills kinganiri bintu kinda combine kale tu akarigire for example garo chipicha Chia ga akiru yagwa akiru ebicha kwaganya yacha kwanyore yiyete ali mwabe gete uniform Christmas ya mandasi ga mwako chipicha yacha ke yiyete lero iwo wako wakwara ki yanjire yange tutageti yako talibo iko ntakire skills twana sana na artificial intelligence yato igwete ngakiwa affect nje mno mwalimu nabanko bo mwalimu nsomera to bwalimu lakini kana get an additional skill ni matenga kinkoros no ne curriculum ndatebe ngaki yes I'm a teacher but ni matenga kinko use AI ko make no ne curriculum I can even be able to translate this language something to this language so translation even comes in so getting aso bwalimu bwane skills kintakire commentor egere kono muntaku boli umwalimu tengo umwalimu nara atubwa to versatile batumerere nga versatile nabago akoreke a world to live on long life learning you keep on learning every day you wake up there's a new thing so we urge our people nebanga wacha kerensa ali mne carpenter baka bwe bolinga aba carpenter ya China nga kiyokore gas skills kyabwata carpenter iri kutoka India nga kiyokora so that you improve your skill continuously kokonyara gosuka onde mno gosuka bono ende diploma mwakaire gosuka bako ende degree mwakaire goweka PhD mwakaire bale bwachi PhD beresa to bono bakea kabisa igonga paka togendere konya komenta amasoma ito to komenta no bumanyi webintu bitokora
tikatosha sore yang marangatora kwanda sengencho kwaratari chinsele speak of Kiroko respond to some of the sentiments so that Dr. Kwandrega tikatu kwandre Singapore for example sengencho na rensi ya Kenya very yeah mentioned adversely so kwegendri ya kwae Kiroko kwandra mangana a global knowledge economy ensi ya Kenya high education system ensi ya Kenya is it that competitive Kiroko ngana chinse chinde nande what risks talk about exposed to kero initiative chirichikube kwitha na serikali use wizara egi semi chitari gwikira
Sante se libolelio na le comment as Dr. Tigara my correspond to Wabolia. Wabolia, what are the consequences? Ya wanafunzi nende kera baitirichi institution each babu chiri. There's a different when they were in 12,000 na kera wale 35,000 in our institutions. So what can I say? Our institutions have been stretched. Stretched in terms of infrastructure. Stretched in terms of capacity kusomia. Abarimu baise ndaba kusomia bana walenda bange. On the process, we might compromise quality. On the process, we might compromise research and innovation. What does it say? Korolochi University tuchikoko chikolera buna pesa nchi. You can imagine a university chartered or university chartered. Chibwa the professors, chibwa the daktari, baganye tichiba sijibe kuru serikali. Then why were they chartered in the first place? Chi university is areas where people are brainstorming. They're becoming innovative every day. I'll give you a good example with Just, that's Jaramogi, and Kenyatta University, Olga Mugende Arengo. She pushed on, innovation, proposal writing, grant writing. How do you call it? Grants, donor trends, grant and proposal writing. Professor Ndiozi alikolika a grant yete alikobu 30% of the grant. So one ya motivate kero motota na kike tiandika ka research kana kaya na wakara attractive funding. I'll give you a good example. A university na Egerton. Egerton is a huge campus with more than 5,000 acres of land. Can you give me a reason you struggle to produce even milk or food or barley? You see? We have resources, but we are not utilizing the resources. Now, we utilize resources so that our learners in this institution can make themselves busy or innovative. Let them engage now in other resource mobilization efforts, collaboration with other universities in and without outside the country. Like now, Haifa University or Hebrew University is very good among dairy farming and horticulture. Yet, they are in a desert area.
Yeah, sure.
Let them collaborate. Let the professors initiate collaborations with other institutions, so that now they're able to attract funding. When funding comes, they create jobs, and you learn now the techniques. So that now we also have other regional universities come for benchmarking. You mentioned something about benchmarking. Now, why are we mentioning Singapore? Is because the country is run properly. The country runs like a corporate. As a Koran now, maybe Standard Chartered Bank. A Koran corporately, getting to Kirari, a stay when you are netela, a job with Wakunega, Chimashia watching you on my highly efficient. That's why Okorano and wait to Kolanaki to Tago Board and no Singapore to Manki or Koru. But I can tell you, our country sometimes is endowed with resources. Ning to a 12 Kirinya, water living.
Montreal Rabori, with all that goodies, you know what, every university is capable of even running themselves without resources.
Yes.
Who is failing now? Policymakers, the management, or is the conducive environment to or what?
Also, when you're a education Migo Sogamba, I remember during his interview with the Twiggas about two parliamentarians. What is this that you are bringing to the education sector, especially funding in the higher universities? He said this: universities should start going forward to have alternative sources, alternative ways of raising resources to run them. Not necessarily waiting for the exchequer to give them money. Then they ask which way. That's what you are discussing. Naki, Abantombale in this world, but at a institution. Your only duty is by the proposal in gear, but then we can work on these gaps. They'll fund. I give you a good example like Jaramogi University. When you work on the number of resources, in the professors they have capitalized among research. Dr. is here will tell you, once you do a very nice research, you will get funding. Even our students, Chi University. So I just say, look for research areas, do a nice proposal, You can't miss 10 million, you can't miss 20 million. Na into challenge university. Abana bakibali kereji research rende chibase chachiri to account. Tako richionzi na inwe. Baena barabwati yabona giyaya aga percentage chaka ngwalika chibase chacha. But I know the government is working on it because police stay whatever ki umanafunzi nyole ngetelikele. But it's very important. Adam Minister Kakuri and Tekina Ki Njirenda alikele research rete 30 million or 50 million akitin yora kende. You understand? Then we should have a framework of saying 20% or 30% of the money she got, she directed to me, she assist now, no you're not correcting even more. Even now to carry my research, going to the field, collecting data, you need resources.
I think to get entertainment, okwande gento kerekia sana. Kwa boring opo kwa munga ibole. Igatubuata abantu babwate mentality eringa njendiku. Ini are mentality tubwate. Nisome nyore gasi. Igatutokere gotebia abantu. Let's be honest with each other. I speak to students. I think this year and last year at International University, I've gone to more than 62 universities in this country. Kwe karanza zina abana in terms of career mentorship. Kwa babuli. Ngeta kere okoro. Abana abate kumanyanga ki, you are the problem solvers. You are the future employers. So that as they even do those research, they are thinking, what problem am I solving in this country? That even starts as a life purpose coach. Ekarongo anda gosoma. Nkuwe bolinga. Ngiyeko garanso mekosie. Ngiyeko garanye kole. Onye kubwate sababu chokolere kosieli. There's a problem you want to solve in the community. Munabone we have issues of mental wellness. And he has mentioned clearly, if those universities put up some research, collaborate with organizations like Chiroma Hospital, who have done a lot of research in mental health, then they are able to come up with a problem to be solved in the community, but seek for funding. We have now organizations like MasterCard, KCB Foundation, Equity Foundation. They do training for even farmers. If I ask you, how many universities are participating in that training? Universities have business schools, but none of those lecturers is coming to participate. I see Strathmore participating. I've seen KC University has started participating, University of Nairobi. Very few of them. So wherever we have a business school, then the next thing is to ask ourselves, how do we make these young people to train these traders on how even to do their books of account? And there is someone who is willing, a bank who is willing to say, if these farmers know how to keep their books of account, they'll be able to bank with me. So I'm willing to fund this project. I pay these lecturers. In the process, the organization will make money. So if we start focusing on that and say, we are the solution to our problems, rather than focusing on where will I get employed after I finish school, which we know currently people will get employed by day. A few are so good will get employed, but a majority of the people, our unemployment rate is so high that we now need to start looking for skills. But bunga na robori Tanzania leo tanga aba bunga amoja mwata ya bananga yana moligie gas na ni numu aza kuligie gas parliament inungas kimwa create. That's a good question to ask. But we don't expect that young person to start a huge business. They could have a small idea, start building. I can tell you an example. I had a young man when we were in college. He left college, started a company. At one point, he wanted to introduce a computer distribution company in Kenya. He didn't have money, he didn't have a warehouse. He went on to healthcare. Now he's a big person. He has never been employed. There are few of those cases. Then how do we pick those young people who have nice ideas, nurture them? We have incubation centers in learning institutions. I know like USIU Africa, they have a nice one, Strathmore. Again, you partner with industry. So that those incubation centers, wherever you come up with an idea, then there's somebody who will support you. The guys from the industry will tell you how it's workable. You suggest something, they say, oh, no, that one we have it. Think again. I want to do this one. This one, change it to this one. So once you do those changes, so if we are able to collaborate again, industry and education institutions, then we'll be able to have people come out of college as job creators. People come out to college because I could be a student and develop a program which could be applied in the bank. What the bank will do, they'll employ me in that bank to implement that project. So as I implement the project, I've gotten a job. So when we go for the interviews, even we need to ask ourselves, what are you bringing to this industry? I've watched on how you do 1, 2, 3. I've come up with this thing. and I've tested it with your people. I've gone to your business banker na even to mubwato bakongnobo. Why don't, if you bring me in, I can be able to help you do 1, 2, 3, so that our students they get jobs through proposal, not through CVs. Yeah.
Torasore na bogoto manyibado. How now? Chi skuru chito chikubato ka chisemi chigoro. They should balance in terms of academics and now employability.
Yeah.
It's a comment that I tell it again. This line of his thoughts. You can agree with me that University of Egerton was formed basis as an agricultural university.
Yeah.
Oh no, you attended to vacate his primary role, you achieved the same business. And I can tell you the world today, as even to very heavily funded, is climate change, next is agriculture.
Yeah. Smart agriculture.
Now, you are running from an area which is well funded to an area which is crowded. I wish by an back to the commanded. If you want insurance or cover, they say crops, but they need somebody who is a specialist in agriculture. Amanya na kitu tokomotomesko is able to assess na key farming ye gokorwa na key insurance here nero what you understand. One orende tojo na ngakisi university. Timeto sene what agriculture department.
What?
But I wish the satellite campus would be big or huge. So that today and wait na ki yaya if to me tokonya wasimeka is wasting our time. Which alternative way tora kore farming etore tere biashara? And today we manafunzi that I'm an engineer, for example. Where does an engineer want his son or daughter to be an engineer? Or where does a doctor want him to be a doctor? But why is a farmer that they do want to have a farmer? Mindset. We are telling our people naki those low jobs, carpentry, farming, are inferior jobs. So they are growing knowing in Kondalingo Chindocha in a society. So we have start now pumping some not sense rende koba manyena ki yaya kero montako tagirigacha taina tamaiti kusimeka chinyanya na bogo chisimeka in horticulture also kichinyanya chinyinge. You've got to Rimuruti chapa AAA na achire mali they export to UAE. Go to even hapo ngata wanto beti chi how do you call them the greenhouses. They're doing broccoli, they're doing chinyanya, they're doing snow peas by export. But yaye ntuna abuna baindi ntibono tokagerete na ndoro kaneki ndembogondo kingoshiyalera nini wone gonjite someti. So we have to start now changing our people mindset. Naki Nature University tap into other universities. There are donors like now. I'll give you a good example. There's a donor called ARDO, Agriculture Rural Development for Asia. These are people who are funding heavily, where Kenya is a member, to institutions that are set up in agriculture. They will fund. World Bank is also funding another area. So you as a student, you'll encourage currency to tegerete. I told currency while getting legal war and key and sing a year conduct, which is trend. Affordable housing. Now I want a proposal. They keep proposal you affordable housing in Gia. Even the Chinese government, they'll fund. They'll call you. Are you available? You come to the embassy. We discuss on this issue. Inki, you are thinking outside the box. Kera the ones work on the east, takanya uchisti. Na I go and the west. Kera the swim go chirugoro. Na I go swim down the river. You might also find a kitchen swinjiri chatting around. So we have to start now changing our mindset. Na daktari, let's engage other collaborators in the industry. Finally, I yield back to his time. Usukoligere timudela kitwala chikamerage. Chikamerage chakolire gasi. Usabe sikuchira. Usabe sikuchira. That's a skill. Our students learning how to service chikamera, for example, or usukole simye they got teach applications. These are people who have sat down, they have developed that app. So we should also challenge our institutions, TVETs and the vocational. Come up with the latest technologies. She will support the youth and the AI. Like now, someone developed M-Pesa. It's an app. But you can imagine what it's doing. There's WhatsApp, there's Facebook. That is an app. So you can imagine about app, Twitter, Now let's also challenge our students that be innovative. There's this institution called Massachusetts. It's a technical institution, Teddy University. There's also another one in India. It's called AIT, Institute of Advanced Technology. One of the best technical institutions in India, whereby wanafunzi ga soiroika Samsung na actually nagi okoli tomoire. You see, that's what he was saying. You have to be very smart, competence.
Yeah.
So that now you go for a 3 months, 6 months course on web development. Yani applications here naki mo karanza mwana rata people from the region, I mean from the world, but we brainstorm naki which app to koligi to we can next. Ni pacha na tinda. We can put lovers in one platform panya we engage aniyo. That is what we call now innovative way of doing things.
Tetocha sore daktari tola tambo kasi yang marangorichi nkwa na chingi yaga gontu ate vanga asaboni gatubwate more than 300,000 work ba so at university kero ba graduate around 70,000 30% ba absorbed iko 17 baro patikarete batara ba exposed to job markets was batara nyorari baka. Now who is failing whatever kwatare sana usangana work ba bega ngobate byorenga you are not only getting this education konyolegas you can also employ policies chitari kobe kuchingia abarukwa bega batari go tebiwanga you are not doing this konyolegas but you are doing this also oina negas also rikegas
again the who is failing nkebu atari chibu ikaigo. Let us look at our industries chiko employ abantu, for example, in this country. Agriculture is one of the industries that can employ so many people. So policy-wise, the government is not supporting agriculture. So if the government supported, because if you look at the agricultural value chain, who does agriculture employ? Agriculture will employ an agriculturist, employ an accountant, employ a teacher to teach the child of that farmer, employs almost everyone. So our government and the governments in Africa are not supporting these growing industries. So I'll just mention a few of them. Agriculture. We need proper support on agriculture to ensure that we have first enough food to feed ourselves. Then number two, we are able to export and even preserve the food. We import from Tanzania. Number tourism. Kenya to environment in for tourism. Our tourism institutions, the government has not given enough incentive so that we are able to attract more tourists back to this country. So just another one is garment production fabric, Chia, all that industries. Again, you see, it's a big industry. I've seen some companies which import to China, US, a good thing to do. So if the government is able to invest in those industries, we are able to create jobs. You see our economy growing, but which industries are growing? Transport maybe. You are seeing financial services industry. A bank doesn't need to employ 20,000 people to make profit. They'll apply technology. So our economy is growing, yes, from 1963, but those industries that employ people are shrinking. So that's one. Number two is how we look at employment. We have all focused on one side, the employment. We swim to the left. Abantu bade arenge kosi karengi ya nursing. Kero monta tete so nursing. Muna kusiya aringa obwalimu. Tuwaso atwensi pi obwalimu. But there are so many courses out here that tutamanyiti. Even drone technology. Sana our technology coming in. Tu bolinga boko unki ensebu yate. Even to be ense that go solve. Ensengima. Wanted to solve climate change and agriculture, smart agriculture. It's a big issue in this world. Then we create professionals in that area, which is another area. We'll have diseases coming in. So we need medical professionals. And when we talk about the medical professionals, it's not nursing and clinical medicine. There are so many of them. So that these young people get to understand within this medical which are aligned to my abilities. Do you know hunger is one of the biggest issues people are sitting down to think about? then we ask ourselves, how do we produce more food? To feed ourselves first, then we are able to sell. So if we are able to tackle all those and then ask ourselves, I'm a student actually also agriculture. How do I become important? For example, we used to have agricultural extension officers. They are no longer there. Why are these universities not working with the farmers around their universities so that these students who knows agriculture can go and advise them on farming? In fact, those farmers could even pay them. So that by the time they leave college, they even have a source of knowledge, experience, and even some employment. So those collaboration, the policies need to be worked on, but again, lastly, is the person who is doing the course. Tarikiro montora akora agriculture, tarikiro montora akora engineering. So na ego chale magana lingora akwana career choice. Ekosi ye mwana agochora kunyanyarare. Naboma atago chole kozi takonda akora engineering oikali onyore irenga mo kegere kelibona kyo mali.
Q.
Cheli elio mali wanje kwa graduate pass. Akiko bwate passi omonto first class second class. Alinwe gasyo egu. Naze konyalikana. So that tuligelinga omwana oyo nkosi kyara nyare gukora. Ndo basuguma se yodo de bande gusoma. Egereka tu abagadi. Number 3 tokole ndunga mentorship. Even our professionals have failed the young people. Are we mentoring these young people? You know, we could be talking, oh, there's this one. For them, they don't know. So we also need to create platforms. What I do at Corporate Career Academy, platforms where young people, old people, the professionals come together and share ideas. Then through that, if they are able to understand now how the world is moving, you open their eyes and then they are able to move forward. So all of us have failed. Yeah.
Tikatocha sore yang marangatora kwana sensemo anomo engineer. Asese ensemo ya National Construction Authority. What should be done so that mindset ya workiwa baiga ebe change na bera better mindset ya bari bare bagenda tene chiseme. Bari ba korire batama think ba kokora chiseme ba korire. They've graduated but they're out there bado mbara make decision chogo tumeka chiseme chiabo. Una daktari ataba kuitware competence kwanza otware na skills ino mara kore kwenda. So what do you think should be done mindset ya workiwa baiga a change?
Daktari okwana bia about mentorship. Mentorship na you are mentee and mentor. One of you are a youngster, you are growing. I tu ati ndo ko ligereri wa goke na kina inji tukelimo nitakembe na Joshua Igoro. Kosiri tukelimo nitako na nyalewe. That's where the rain starts beating them. In life we go to Romonto na yo kwegi na ki ebintu byara ko bebiya na nchira na utakambe na nyalewe. So when they don't have the correct mentorship, they go to the institutions of learning, but basoka is called half-baked. Half-baked, Ramarangri interview touch because tali well prepared, I doubt it. Nagota yena ki oraya na institution. Tugo iskuru njire chiko somi chetia, echide chiko somi abantu ba flat. But yet, kero montonete that asuma nafunzi. Before to try and entry behavior, which kind of students were admitted. The thing is, ayebuno mwanafunzi utaete kogoro uchewe konya mutu. What drives you? What is your mantra? Ngigiko kubokia, mambi wate abante toko koreke. Without mantra, then you have no purpose in life. Kiano na yuke rocho raboka, ulera decide muro chia. You don't have what you call purpose of life, purpose of sense. That's why it comes in very handy. Coach, talent management, mentorship, so that we mentor our children by giving them alternatives and options. I can tell you, see, people are crazy about Ugarim.
No wasigari.
No wasigari. Everybody, Ugarim. No cigar. But you'll be shocked. The last people who get to know Serikali was in 2013. All the Montare in 2013, according to Warimu, I need to call. How many years are those?
Around 50.
But if he had a skill, can you come oragiri? How am I praying? I want to wait. Once you go to the correct information, or review wongo wabo, Pamanina Malemonaka heta gusi. Pamainaki, which kind of farming torakore? I'll give you a good example. He talked about the livestock extension officers. County governments, but they don't go to the field. Either they are not motivated. Otherwise, chi oandabo ikoyo ga gitunguri. Okonya romo ikoyo in a quarter acre or 50 by 100. Amigerete nyomba, a section in kaya weti chombenye. Igora kabeka chingoko, igora kabeka chinguru. Chinguru jaru shoboy, chigo jaru shoboy, oiramo wanda saga combat. Obe kanyara chinsiaga. Ocha. Buerika in a month is able to get 200,000. Kera rusi expenses charge Johannesburg. I'm a very in Kisi town, ara rita between 60 and 70. But no to morigi no na piki and ari chaulio soya ga rinda nai or soya uchi kamukuji muino, they sell a rita 32 or 30. So you can imagine 30 and 70, you already have 40 shillings. So gaki, no pick 100 liters in a day, roughly no worth 4,000. What we are saying, no soma, we go as otwaro manjibonde, we're outside, bogo konye asoko menyabon. Kyoruchu wa no mwarimu, wa kore, inkore. No te komenya, na kyoruchu komenya. You can easily get into Tagari or other areas where once you kunyomaru because of stress. He mentioned clearly about mental wellness. Mental wellness nere you. Abantu barengereri mpaka barwadi. Yes. Ono charo gaki moiboli wasomenya bana babiri batatu na abareka barikiri. It's a problem. It's a problem.
Tega toske wose asogorigia guchigo korenkwane totocha sore daktari bono korangana na ni wizara ichisemi omurubiri umuyewa masomo OCBE nkobore full to effect that is 2029. Kero transition yega ego korgochi now the new curriculum CBE. Going forward, inga kegochi will affect the state of high education learning, knowing that bono mode kurubirumo kuro ngoro, ngoro rabarko bagotira kurunse, but the CBE product.
Yeah, sure.
Kerbago so achi semiche goronga kegochi kobagochi wose.
Asante sana. Ento CBE njengo nye ndocha ngane chenchi binta keigo, but the way to any implement ringia. So ntakere change approach. I spend a lot of time speaking to parents by nyulinga a government na ego set a system. You know this system of CBE set Trina Ruto. Don't blame Ruto. This is something that was discussed by Vision 2030. Vision 2030. It's around 2010 Constitution. If you look at, for example, the global market, they are following the same CBE. The things people do in CBE, we may not be able to do them in the same level because again it's somehow expensive, but these children will be able to understand more if they are well guided. I'm looking at an opportunity where this CBE now have started developing competence in what they do. Unlike Yeruwa Kaganirenga YK University kwanda kusoma agriculture, wachukua veterinary officer, abana abasoire mapema kumanyanga kalongo chora subject chiana paka chini to a career path ichikonge career. So if we have done proper career guidance with these learners, we are going to have more self-reliant human beings as we move forward, because they could now have understood that I need to have these competencies, I need to do 1, 2, 3. But there's a lot of work needs to be done. One of them I'm mentioning is community service learning. Community service learning has been implemented in many countries. Link to the community. I don't think we have done that so well in terms of linking learners to the community. If we have done it, I could have found one CBE student in this studio at some point who wants to be a media person seated here. As you ask a question, they ask also one question, so that you keep on mentoring them and moving forward. So we need to have a discussion here na abanyene biashara, a discussion here na professionals, a discussion here na school. I got to implement community service learning, mentorship and coaching. Then we'll have a good population. I'm very confident that if we do the right thing, we'll have very good professionals as we move on.
Na bako mentra yang maranga sengen chomoro bigo mo masoma barko agabago cha. Yeah. Aki itseme kitu chigoro chiko chikoba.
Winto bitato. It's just about community service. I also read an article that the government should introduce amagana passing through NYS. So that every candidate went to the university, either through NYS, I will drill properly, I will mentor properly, so that by the time I watch in a job market, already now what the professionalism is trimmed. I want to know about operate with the ways discipline, whole life approach, so that by the time I go now into their careers, they are full fit. Then number 2 now coming to CBE. That is the best thing that has ever happened. Kenya, there's always resistance to anything and everything. But you know what? CBE now, once you done work already your CBE education, you can now easily fit into the international job market. If you go to the universities in the UK, you'll just going in without doing the GMATs, without doing the TOEFLs. They'll absorb you. That's why back onto the British system. By the time I university 2 years. When I UK 2 years, or so they go to university, degree. You see, that is the beauty about CBE. It's placing our students where their strengths are. Like now you mentioned about going direct to your career. A school like Mangu where boy in KQ and when no, they are challenging their kids top notch, going to piloting. Mondakuru akanyole AI Tariku University direct to Kenya School of Flying, KQ Center for Flying. After 2-3 years, he's able now to fly a pilot, and Boeing, because when he was in the high school, he had already started simulating himself. Nakolan, interact in Karomoke. China is doing it. China young kids at 22, 23, they're flying Airbus than the Boeings because they're able to interact in the these game stations. How do you call them?
Play stores.
Even to be doing a simulation. Work a football. The brain is matching that, and even the talent management in area. One about the skill, you can identify one more thing. So now CBE will place our kids to the right places in the society and in terms of where they want to go. Then number 2, discipline, patriotism. I can tell you patriotism is very key. Oregon America national anthem they literally cry. As I say toga wana toko na ligeti so the culture of discipline, patriotism is very key, and all of above, we have a beautiful country. Let's love our country. Thank you so much.
Bien, tigato sore daktari asogo korra chinkwana chago chomo eri boy gonabo ogutumanya ase ensemo okuro bokoreri bwago kirabor kwa maybe ni butira takenere akonye kaso morkwe no morkena ne roganda tajisemya akonye ke naro korro taramanyanga nkiabwenta kokora.
Asante sana. Asante atwari bagetu akwanire na ndene bete ke twara ombera ntwagamba kera mangana Kenya twabere to focus on siasa kirengaki. Siasa tarikero mondora mujumba akoboyo maze constituency. Yobona liba gamne lyogo to twara gamba mangana career is very important aso lyo tegerete. Aso mwebuli lyo tegerete. Digire lyo mwana ogo muno monto different kubu mwana onde. Ndoba sawa kombe abana kero mwana nabwatu kwenyara kwae. Nimbwata omura babere nyomba ligo konyoro manje twako mupira. Wonder no ala no rute buyu biae. That's who they are. Ikoto kunya tenga senju bono mupira, juwazi mwako mupira. Ntungo karatura mangana career counseling, guidance and mentorship at Corporate Career Academy. Komu buliara to kali tete komu to understand more about it. We have now around 512 teachers to are certified across the country. Bakonya abana bachori course, especially under this CBE. Nabora abena yangu akorete skuru boni yangu anyakonyora gas pole egasi mate ogosoma kero muntu asomete anyore gas nutakire nayo ligi new skills probably nabora abanye okwebole skill kienda kire gokoranje bono kiatarikiro muntu rabe web designer tarikiro muntu rabo mutangazi tarikiro muntu rabo ate camera mbarabaje kore camera ega osoko buganere wake bicha ikubona nemitinga nabugo ikaranzane career analyst a career coach ako guiding based on you who you are mna koibole tu eno ebibintu ranyare gukora bia egara ako guiding there are free courses mna boni I've seen so many free courses. Federation of Kenyan Employers by launching free courses with AI. I've seen one of the banks by launching some free training. So there's a lot of information out here. You can go on YouTube and learn a skill. So one thing is to identify who am I, what can I do, na nenga kinda nyale koba ngo develop. On the way surataka, for example, ushauri, they have a question, they can call us 0111445250 Corporate Career Academy 0111445250 usalike skills@corporatecareeracademy.com karuwa kresi email skwali kire email na togocha tokambe na to karaga ngakitora gokonye mna umuibori muna yo mwana oli skuru muna oli kolete na ono oli ase career watanga career no engo nyekora chibeza jingwa kanunde lakini ngo chiko Monday mambia ikene go mutu okongati na hego ni meeting you are not in the right career akito wa advice nga career ikiura pick in line with your life purpose egaro bugima bogendera
mbe mano daktari ni yang marangana na bakonyora a minute so that we close
the party okolera ngo tayu mwana mo usio totegerete onye rende professionals to our failure na ino mwe failure daktari ata bya sana tinda nyako nyora professionals wa usi ba batabanaki tomera na segete indeed tokole what you call giving back to society. We mentor our children. But number 2, I want to challenge you mwanafunzi olenka ito teto junior university so to the masters ori elesi miye all the scholarships in the world are there. I tend to go to amangana far east, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, China, India. Nyandi tuanyo rechinsa amala go tabe go de website yokoro kwa iTech short courses noko gorega chigo pop up Taika Thailand International Corporation we gorega chigo pop up Malaysia Technical Corporation the scholarships are there and they are fully funded for ninyo twakwero bonyo ahetogo isuki akaigo oigora go manyangi kerogo konyorote ne togo konyana. Asante.
Thank you so much. Mwancho murigeria naye togote bambia mona sokoba na intukuru toga chagete nkwanega yoko semia korengi kwanyara koba gukwimukia ikiarenge ikiago no tugikero mwerio abu nande tukandiro tware huburire rubiya kwimurubire genda sembia tokonyara chinga kinande unambageni bane batebire andake rimo kabire na botogo chaga igase studio twasanga sengencho semiti chirikwera nande kero togo semaniga ankyo itu nariye koba buyana na botogo konyana kwimukirania umusigo yomo ase oyonde nchenkuru kwa Clinton Ndigi Brian Achaka na Felistas Kabendi na utwabwatira na kure studio ya kabere gekuraga chinsa isato kure nanda semesa ya mayakurwa ensoko toska.